This video will show you how to make a graph using the numbers program on a Mac. So here I went out and I gathered some data on how far somebody ran as a function of time. And so I'm going to take the data from my notebook, and you can see I've already preloaded it into the spreadsheet. And what you'll see is I put time as my left column and I put distance as my right column. And that is no mistake. And the reason is, I labeled these, but you don't have to. Time is my x variable or my independent variable, whereas distance is my y variable or my dependent variable. And you have to decide which is x and which is y for your own set of data. But the way you do it is to think, okay, time, does that depend on anything? No, it doesn't. Time just kind of marches along, so it's my independent variable. How far my runner ran, however, depends on how long they were running. So therefore, time is my distance is my dependent variable. And the reason why that's important is spreadsheets programs, when they go to generate graphs for you, are expecting that the leftmost column is going to be your x values, and that your rightmost column are going to be your y values. So in order to make a graph, I have to select my data, which means I need to do this. So to do that, all you do is you click here in your upper left cell, right in the middle of this cell, because you don't want to be dragging. You don't want any of these other symbols. You just want the arrow. So if I point right on the 20, I left click with my mouse, and now I'm moving. Try it again. Left. There we go. So I'm just going to point right on the 20, left click with my mouse, and drag straight across. So you can see it can be a little tricky to actually select the data. But this is what it looks like when I've selected my data. And so then I want to go to Insert, and I want a chart. And you can see there's 1,000 options. So generally in science, what you want is this 2D scatter. So we select that. And so here's a graph. Looks great, except for the fact that we have no idea what we're graphing. So the first thing we would need is a title. So we click that box. And then if you go over to the Axis tab, you can see we're on the Y-axis right now. We want an axis name there. And we go over to the X, and also we want an axis name. So let's change. There we go. Let's change the name of the axis. So this axis is time in minutes. And so this axis, so I'm just clicking and clicking again to highlight the text. And this is distance in miles. So you always want your units. And again, title, just click until it highlights, and we'll just say add a title. Okay, good. So we're looking great. The only other thing we need is a trend line. If you remember linear least squares regression, and in order to get that, just left click on the data, any data point, so your data is now highlighted. And linear least squares regression is called a trend line. So you want a linear trend line, and we want the equation, and we also always want to show the r squared, which shows us how good the fit is. And the reason why you want this trend line is it will allow you to interpolate or decide, so say we want to know how far somebody could run in 90 minutes. Well, we can use this equation to find that. So let's just show that. So let's say in 90 minutes, since you can do this on your calculator, or you can do this in your spreadsheet program if you need to interpolate. So I'll just say, I'll hit equals, and that brings up a formula bar. So 90 minutes, minutes are my x variable, so 0.1289 times 90 minus my intercept, and enter. So that is distance in miles. And say conversely, we wanted to know how long it took somebody to run, say, 13 miles. Let's say we have, so that means, let's use equals. 13 is the y variable. I'm getting a parentheses. 13 plus 0.4533 divided by 0.1289 divided by our slope. So you can see it would take somebody 104 minutes to run 13 miles. And this cell hasn't been formatted yet for decimal places, so it has a lot of decimal places. So what you would want to do is change over here where it says decimals to maybe 1 and hit enter. And so there you can see to go 13 miles would take about 104 minutes. Now it's always a good idea to check that on your graph and make sure if that makes sense. So, 13 might be about here. We go over and down, and yeah, that looks like it would be right around 100 minutes. For this one, we said it was 90 minutes. How far could they run in 90 minutes? Well, let's see, 90 gone over. Yeah, that looks like it's about 11 miles. So go ahead and try this yourself with your own set of data.